And is there opportunities to become an officer beyond the academy and ROTC? Can you still, do they still have an OCS program?
Certainly,
So
certainly.
you're an enlisted man and you say, I'd like to apply for officers candidate school, and you can still do that.
Yeah, there are two ways you can do that. Like you just spoke about, you know, a soldier, enlisted, or non-commissioned officer could decide that they want to pursue the officer side of the house after completing their degree. Or in many cases, we have folks nowadays that have completed their college degree and are simply looking for something to do, and they want to serve their country, and it's a great opportunity for them to come right in. They go to basic training, go directly to OCS from basic training without any prior military training. So definitely different avenues of approach there.
Okay. Now, you mentioned educational. Does the Army offer educational opportunities above and beyond what you get in the military? In other words, if someone says, I'm in the Army and I'm at Fort Knox in Kentucky, and there's a branch at the University of Kentucky, I would like to take some courses there. Does the Army offer some kind of monetary incentive to do that or help them in any way?
I can speak very specifically to that. While I was in my advanced course at Fort Bliss in Texas, which is in El Paso, I had the opportunity to earn my master's degree at the University of Texas in El Paso, which the Army paid for in its entirety. And what happened was, essentially, I incurred an additional 2-year obligation for that education that they gave me. Additionally, for any soldier at any time, there's $4,500 a year tuition assistance that you don't incur any sort of obligation for. It's just available for use in any of the local colleges, whether you want to go online or go to a 4-year or 2-year university.
Really?
So that's there every year.
Wow. Now, what is a PFC or PVT before PFC? Is that still the ranks, right?
Yes.
Now you're
correct.
specialists.
Yeah, E4 would be a specialist or a corporal. Yeah.
Okay, but say a PVT. What is a How much does a person get as a monthly pay?
I can give you a specific answer if you don't mind.
No, not at all.
I guess I'd rather not.
I asked because
I'd rather not give you a guesstimate.
when I was, this will tell you how long ago I was in the military. I got $78 a month.
It's increased quite a bit since then.
If you were private, just completed basic training, you'd be earning $1,568 a month base pay. That doesn't include all of your housing and food. That's all covered. If you have a family, then you'll be given on-post housing. If you are a single soldier, then you'll be living in the barracks. Either way, they'll have that meal card, you know, so that's just to start. And then,
wow.
of course,
$1,500 a month. That's good.
That's also covering your medical and insurance also.
And then, of course, as you get up in grade, that increases.
Yep.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
And time in service also.
You know, interesting, Captain, if I might just regress for a moment, my son retired from the Air Force as a lieutenant colonel, and they paid for his master's degree and his PhD. Totally paid for.
Awesome.
Which was a great, you know, it's, yeah, it was excellent opportunities for him.
Fantastic.
So, enough about him. Let's talk about the Army.
Sure.
Now, is this Airborne, is that part of the 82nd Airborne?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's where our hearts are at.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now,
Both of us.
so you did airborne training. I noticed you have your jump wings at Fort Benning, Georgia?
That's correct.
So they still have those posts there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
How long did that take to go through that kind of training for?
It's a 3-week school at Fort
3
Benning
weeks.
for your basic airborne course.
Uh-huh.
The 3 weeks consist of your first week, which is basically a ground, they call it ground week. You're essentially learning how to land. Very simple, very basic. The second week, they call it tower week, which is where they bring you up to a higher level, not quite out of a plane, but get you used to what it's like to have a canopy over your head, and basically progressively until the 3rd week when it's jump week. And you execute 5 jumps, and by the time you hit the ground, your 5th jump, you get there and they'll pin the wings on your chest.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, well, congratulations. Now, in basic training, which is 8 weeks, you go through a series of physical kinds of exercises and programs that condition you.
Certainly.
Get you into condition.
Yeah, Sergeant Guimond could definitely speak to that.
Yeah, they don't start you off running like 5 miles at a time like the first week you're there. They build you up that whole time. So you start small. By the time you get out, you'll be in the best shape of your life.
Yeah, I can believe that. And then from there, do they offer you other kinds of physical programs so you stay in that kind of shape?
Yes.
Okay.
You do PT on a regular post. You would do PT almost every morning, minus weekends. But every base also has a gym. They highly encourage people going to gyms and stuff like that. They have mixed martial arts classes, which is what we teach. So there's a lot of programs that we do have to keep people in shape.
Okay. And opportunities in the medical corps. for people who want to pursue that kind of career, are they fairly prevalent for people who are enlisting and saying, I'd really like to get in the Army, but I'd like to have an opportunity to get in the medical corps and learn that, because one day I might want to pursue becoming a physician or a dentist or even a psychiatrist?
The answer to your question is yes.
Thank you.
And I've got a whole page worth of medical specialties that somebody who's just out of high school and wanting to enlist in the United States Army could go into different fields. Anything from a veterinary specialist to an X-ray tech to mental health, optometry, dental, operating room, to your standard combat medic out in the field. So the answer to that question is absolutely yes. Yeah. And as they progress and they continue their education, they can transfer from the medic side into becoming either a physician's assistant, a nurse, or a doctor on the officer side. Okay. So those opportunities are also available.
I see. Okay. And excuse me, I know you touched on this once before, but I wanted to ask again. And as far as someone comes in to talk to you guys about joining the Army, is there anything special that you look for as they come in the door? Like you size them up or anything?
Usually, yeah. The biggest problems that we have or seem to find is people with previous medical issues or some sort of law violation type deal. That's the biggest problem. Most of the time, the people that walk through the door, it's a go because they want to do it. It's something that they want to do. We don't have to try and force it upon them to join the military or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So. Okay.
Now, and you asked them those questions right there as they're sitting there with you. You're asking them, pardon me, they're asking them those kinds of questions as they're sitting with you. So.
Yes.
Okay, exactly. And you're expecting straight answers.
And specific also to your question, you ask, are you sizing them up? That's a question you ask, and I won't beat around the bush. The answer to that question is absolutely yes, because there's no beating around the bush. There is a weight issue in our country, and the Army does have a height and weight standard, and so that's something that everybody has to adhere to that when they join. They have to meet the height and weight standard. But just like Sergeant Guimond said, where there's a will, there's a way, and if the person walks through the door with a desire, then we have a whole program for folks to work out with us until they get up to the point where they are ready to enlist and are able to meet the height and weight standard.
Okay.